So I am trying this again. I recorded one video before. It was okay, but I wasn't paying attention to the screen. I was off in la-di-da land. Wasn't giving real good descriptions or information. So I decided that I just want to re-record it. So it is August 23rd. My last radiation treatment's going to be on the 30th, which I am looking forward to ringing the gong. They have this giant gong thing inside their radiation room that you hit when your last radiation is. I don't know if I'm going to have to wear headphones or not because I've got that sensory problem with noise. I mean, it overwhelmed me a little bit when I was waiting in the radiation waiting room when someone else rung it, but not in a bad way. I was really happy for them. It was a friend of mine. I didn't get to hear my other friend ring the gong, but I know that he was really happy. I got him this shark balloon, and apparently he smiled ear to ear. But I had to go catch my ride before I was able to hear it, so I hope I never have to see them in there again. So my last treatment's on the 30th, and this whole journey has been nuts. So I mean, I had the tumor since 2008. I am not going to go into that whole thing. And it started developing into cancer either earlier this year or late last year. It's slow growing, grade 2. So that at least was something. Sorry, the scratching is my cat at the scratching post. Anyway. Yeah, and I'm hoping after, because they're going to put me on higher dose of chemotherapy that's pill form. They're going to put me on a higher dose of it after a couple weeks to give my system a break. I don't know how long I'll be on there, but they're hoping it'll bring me into remission. I don't know if I'm ever going to be truly cancer-free. This has got a very high reoccurrence rate, and it tends to come back as a higher grade when it comes back. It might not come back, but it might. I have to prepare myself for the just in case it does. I mean, I'm going to have to go to scans every year. And I know it's going to be nerve-wracking every time. I already kind of recognize that I've started developing a serious anxiety around CT, PET scans and stuff and all that. Just even hearing it on a movie or a show gets my heart racing. She's even mentioning it bothers me. Anyway. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I applied for a job at a rehab center it's a volunteer job, don't get me wrong, but it's to keep patients company in rehab and encourage them and everything, and I'm really hoping I get the job. I think it'll be fantastic. It'll look good on my resume, for one, but that's not the main reason I'm doing it. I want to help people. I originally thought I wanted to go into physical therapy, but you have to get a PhD for that for some reason. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason as to why, but with my leg the way it is, except I still haven't gotten function of my leg correctly, and my doctors are kind of They don't think it's going to come back. But I'm still walking. So I'm still walking at a relatively normal ability. I can't jog, I can't power walk, but at least I'm walking. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not using assisted devices. I don't even have the drop foot brace anymore. So that's a good sign, I think. But that does hinder my ability to do physical labor. So, and I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I got around to thinking, what do I want to do with my life? I want to make a difference. I want to go into the mental health field, of course. And then it struck me that what was the one thing I really needed when I first got diagnosed with cancer? Someone to talk to. And it was terrifying. I go into the doctor's office because sometimes they use radiation to shrink tumors or something like that, right? And I mean, the writing was on the wall. I guess I just wasn't paying close enough attention to it, or I didn't want to. But I sat in my doctor's office and I asked for clarification about something, and he said, "Yeah, you have cancer." They sent my samples to the Cleveland Clinic and some other clinic. Starts with an H, I think. Anyway, it's one of the big cancer centers in Washington, and it came back with the end result is cancer. I'd go through the whole DNA shebang stuff, but it'll bore you to tears. It bored me to tears when I was reading it. Had to do a lot of research to understand it. Interesting, but anyway, I remember sitting inside that office, walking out. I felt like a zombie. I felt like everything was crashing down on me, and from that moment on, my life had changed since this whole ordeal. I mean, from the PET scans, the CT scans, the angiogram, the biopsy, to the craniotomy, to the hospital stay, to rehab, to in-home physical therapy. And then the cancer center. It's been a massive change in my life, and I've had to change everything. I mean, I've started having to make my own meals on Saturdays for the whole week in case I'm too tired to do it during the week because of the radiation. And that's something I think I'm going to keep hold of even after all this. I think it's really healthy, and it's actually helped me lose weight. So, but getting up every day, sometimes I forget that it doesn't happen as much now, but I would forget that I have cancer until I got up and fell flat on my face because my leg doesn't work correctly because of the cancer. And then it would sink into me that I have cancer. And that phrase never really sank into me until now. It took up until the 4th week of my treatments for it to really sink in and for me to really kind of accept that this is my routine. And it might be my future routine, and it might not, but this cancer has a really high return rate. But the good news about that is I have 2 to 5 to even 15 years before that becomes a possibility, if it happens. So that's at least some fantastic news, right? Because then I could at least get some of my life done that I want done. I'm not going to sit around and feel sorry for myself I mean, I could, but it wouldn't really help me any, would it? I want to help other people. So that's why I decided that going to college to become an oncologist counselor would probably be the best bet. I mean, I've been there. I know how scary it is, and you want answers, you want people to hear you. You don't want to just be told to always be positive. You need people to actually sit there and listen to you and validate how you feel, but encourage you at the same time to keep on going and all these things. You have to find the balance, and that's what I want to help people do. Let them know that they're not alone. So that's what my future plans are. It's been a journey, and I am so grateful for every single one of you that have been there for me. So thank you, and try to take care of yourselves, be kind to other people, and be kind to yourselves.